Dr. Srinivas, and at the outset, I'd like to thank Dr. Chitra and the ARC for giving me this opportunity. And over this past 1.5 hours, we have been having a great learning experience. And each and every surgeon, the amount of surgical skill they have shown is really phenomenal. And I'm so glad that I was made part of this wonderful webinar. So my topic is on showing an iris encerclage in a patient with an Uret-Zavalia syndrome. This was a 40-year-old high myopic female who had an AC phakic IOL done 15 years back. This was a refractive IOL, the Verisace model, which we used to do 15 years back. And postoperatively, she had a high intraocular pressure, which resulted in a fixed and dilated pupil, something like an Uret-Zavalia syndrome. But patient had 6 by 6 vision, but the only problem she had was a significant glare. She refused any further intervention because she was very happy with her vision. She didn't want to go back in for doing any iris repair. So she's been coming for regular follow-up over the several years because she had the eyes done, both eyes. One eye is absolutely normal. Only this eye developed this. And over the 15 years, then about 6 or 7 months back, she developed cataract. And she was posted for IOL removal, iris repair with phaco. So this is the video showing video. Yeah. So this again is showing the same history, and so you can see that the lens is a little bit dislocated down. I'm making multiple entries, side port incisions, and disenclaving the iris. It came out very nicely, very easily. And once I disenclaved, I made a clear corneal tunnel about 5.5 millimeters so that I can remove the IOL. This is an all PMMA IOL, so it cannot be cut. It has to be removed only in toto. And I removed it. And at this point, you see that the cataract is about grade 2 to 3 and completed the rhexis. Because the patient was a little bit younger, you can see that the capsule, anti-capsule is quite rigid, something like a pediatric cataract, but I was able to complete it using the rhexis forceps. And a routine hydrodissection, gentle hydrodissection all around, and rhexis made a central crater, rotated the nucleus, did a anterior chopping, vertical chopping. It was a standard case, and because the patient was a high myope, had a deep AC in spite of so much of fluid leaking out from the side port, and completed the phaco uneventfully, did the an IA using the coaxial method, polished the capsule, and planted a +3 diopter multi-piece intraocular lens into the bag. So far, so good. I think someone is talking in the background. They have to be muted.
Mute everybody, excepting me and Harshul.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Okay, now what I'm now trying to do is I'm just checking to see if I'll be able to continue with, just leave her alone, inject pilocarpine to see if it is constricting. It didn't constrict. I've been following this patient. I know she's not going to constrict. So I'm just testing to see how much of iris I can pull. So the question is whether I should do an SFT or go with an iris encerclage. I decided to do an iris encerclage because that gives a fairly normal size pupil. You can see I'm using a 10-0 Prolene needle. And you see that I'm using the microforceps to actually tag the iris onto the needle. So the needle is stationary, but the iris is forceps is grasping the iris and tagging it on. So the bites are actually made multiple times. It's better if you make them very closely, which I really didn't do, I should have done. And at every point, the microforceps is actually coming into play with very little action from the needle. Then it's exited. So wherever it's not possible for you to go around, you exit and then re-enter through the same wound. And use the microforceps to the maximum help, and you tag the iris at every point. And the superior portion, this area, there was some amount of fibrosis. So it's sort of cheese wired, though I tried to do it repeatedly. And went all around and exited. At the point of exit, I'm using a 26 gauge needle to railroad it so that I don't catch on to the corneal tissue. So that's also very important. And then now I'm tying the suture. You can see in some areas, there's some amount of cheese wiring has happened. And several ways of tying can be done, but I've just done the tying outside and removed the pieces. And it's become sort of a little bit round, not bad at all compared to what she had. And post-operatively, you can see that she had a fairly reasonably round small pupil, about 4.5 millimeters. And the area where the iris is cheese wired, where you can see the suture was covered by the lid. So her glare came down significantly. And her vision also improved to 6/6, and she was extremely happy. The one thing I could have done here was probably could have resutured this area, gone back inside and resutured this area. But the advantage of doing this type of iris encirclage, what I find is that when compared to an SFT is that it is much more, it looks more physiological. The whole iris, this was how the case looked, and this is the post-op. So iris encirclage is more of an elegant procedure for atonic pupil because the pupil, when it comes down, it looks more physiological. And the important tip is to keep the anterior chamber deep. Use a good viscoelastic. I prefer viscoat, no financial interest, and keep the needle stationary. So, and you keep the microforceps, which keeps tagging the iris onto the needle, and take the needle along like a running suture. It's practically running suture, and take very close bites. So this is a learning experience for me, though this surgery I did about 1.5 to 2 years back, though I've said 6 months in this. 2 years, and subsequently when I've done it, I've taken very close bites. So when you take closer bites, you get a very nice round pupil. The one point you have to remember is some of this iris could have, over a period of time, could have become very rigid. So that can actually cause a cheese wiring. And so you have to take at least 1 millimeter into the iris tissue to prevent cheese wiring, and make multiple entries to facilitate the sewing angle. So you can even go around. If you want, you can even shift your chair from the temporal to the superior side. And every time you exit and enter, make sure that you don't catch on to the tissues at the incision, because then the whole point goes away. When you try to suture, you'll find that your suture is stuck in one of the corneal tissues. So that's a very, very important point. And knots can be tightened either using the technique which I showed, which I did outside, or you can use the same mecanal retrieving technique. It's called as a mecanal Ahmed technique, where the combination of this encirclage along with the mecanal retrieval technique can be used. And then other important thing is you do the visco washing under the IOL before suturing, because once you suture, you may not be able to go under the lens and wash. So then the rest of the viscoelastic can be washed after the iris encirclage has been done.